Hi guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through the Sydney vs Gold Coast game, going through how it wasn't really the best fantasy game again. I mean, we only had 2 scores over 100, a lot of 90 scores, a couple of 80s, and then a lot of 70s and 60s. I mean, you sort of expect that obviously, but no big scores at all. So, especially with Gordon and Miller both going below, well, Gordon 88, Miller 79. Parker and Mills again failing for the Swans. Chad Warner even topping out at 94. I mean, there's just no one else here really. And Rowell and Flanders both going 89 and 90 respectively. There wasn't really much to gain out of this. I mean, it sort of suited the round, I guess, where no one's really scoring high. But anyway, before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So Jake Lloyd's actually popped up in the last couple of weeks, I believe. If I go over here, Lloyd, we look here, his last three, I'm guessing, 108. Let me make this bigger so you guys can actually see it. 108, last 5, 90. He's been really good, and was good again today, or in the game. 36 last quarter, 26, 23, 20, but that last quarter 36 bumped him up to a 105. Blakey, 95. He was actually probably going to almost get best on ground. Blakey just provided a lot. And, I mean, I think he made 1 or 2 mistakes out of the back, but it wasn't too much. And he provided a lot of run and gun for the Swans to be able to slingshot footy like they have been for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and being able to really convert, just going from defensive 50 to forward 50. McLean was huge again. What did he end up with? 2. He ended up with, I think, 2 goals. So doesn't really show the amount of output that he actually put in. But he was huge. Will Hayward has kicked 4, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 3 in the three alone in the third was absolutely huge from him. And yeah, he just provided that. I guess he showed that, you know, there's more than 2 or 3 guys in the Swans forward line that can kick a bag. I mean, you've seen recently McLean kick a lot. I mean, McLean, I think, had come off two games of 4 goals in about the last 3 or 4 weeks. If we look here, match stats, there was a 4 goal and then not really much, and then back to this Eagles game where he kicked 3, but everyone kicked 3 there. But McLean has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting, I guess, in the ruck, so he's actually had a good 3 or 4 weeks, as well as providing. He had 5 marks, 5 tackles, which is really good for a key forward. Then you've got, as I was saying, you have the likes of McDonald, who I think ended up with 2 or 3 goals, but it didn't really look like he had even the best game. He ended up with 3 goals, and he started to provide 6 goals, 8 and 9. 12 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. So 12 in 8 weeks is a pretty good output. And he started to, I guess, kick on a little bit. He's ended up with, 14, 19, 20, 22, 23, 26, 28 goals in 17 games. Isn't the worst. Obviously isn't the best. But, I mean, he's starting to show the 2 or so goals per game type of player that he can be. Heaney was good again. He started to dominate and almost kept the Swans in the game in the first half, and showed that he can also kick a couple goals. You had Wicks, I think, kick. Did Wicks kick any goals? No, he did kick a goal, but he kicked a couple behinds, it looks like, but not many. Not any goals. But again, just showing that the Swans have 4 or 5 guys that can easily kick a goal or 2. I mean, Papley, I think, He kicked 1, Chad Warner kicked 2, so you're just getting output from all of these guys, and it just shows that the Swans have a lot of goal scoring potential, I think, rather than a lot of the other teams have sort of 1 or 2 guys that do it, whereas the Swans, I think, don't necessarily have that big guy that's going to kick 60 or so in the year anymore that Buddy used to be, but they'll have a lot of guys kick 40 or so, 40, 35 goals. And they get it in their different way to a lot of teams. Warner 94, he was big. Papley again, huge, going more into the midfield, I think, a little bit this week. And 26, 39, 31, so 57 second half was huge. Rowbottom was again huge. I think he laid something like 8 tackles in the game, so he sort of gets his points in bunches. Goulden, 88, he came alive in the second half when they got rid of the tag, and just shows that you really kind of need to tag him to keep him out of the game, else he's going to be damaging, because I don't know his efficiency, but I'm pretty sure it was in the second half without a tag, it was actually up there, and he was just able to shift around the ground and get those easy like +6s and just those easy kicks almost behind the ball, but not necessarily behind the ball. It was just it was out of the back of the stoppage, but he just opened up the play for the Swans. So if we look here in the third quarter, apparently his disposal efficiency was 14%, which isn't good. And then in the last quarter, it was 83. So I wonder if seven disposals and only 1 efficient disposal means that he would have had a shocker for like clangers and turnovers. So just trying to see if I can grab that at the moment, but doesn't look okay. I can get clangers on my phone here, and let's look at that. What did he do in the? So overall, Chad Warner was 12 clangers. I think it was 10 turnovers as well, and he had Gordon at 4 clangers. So not bad. I don't think it was as bad as what most people would have expected. Whoopsie. With the way he sort of, with that 14%, you would have expected him to be worse, but I still think Gordon had a pretty good game, even though it was a down game for him. Heaney, 83, as we said, he was the first half. He did really, really well. Stevens, 77, Parker, 75. Just sort of, Parker seems to have taken the back step in the last couple of weeks as others have come through. Wicks, 74. Mills again taking another back step. He seemed like he was they wanted to persist with Gordon in the midfield and Mills on a wing, which just doesn't work. Need to get him back into the centre. McDonald, Florent, Francis, Cunningham, Hickey, McCartan, Roberts, Fox, Amadi, Clark. Clark literally got like 5 minutes, if that. Then we go over to Gold Coast. Ellis came alive in the last quarter at least, as well as in the first quarter he did pretty well. But and he kicked, I think, a goal somewhere in there, I swear. Yeah, he kicked 1 goal in the first. So he was all right. And then we come to basically everyone else, aside from Lloyd and Ellis, didn't really do anything fantasy relevant. Noah Anderson, 94, below his average. Witts got 93, which was just above his. Flanders, and 90 is is a good score, but then again, Luke Jackson beat it. We also had Sheasel beat it as well. So guys around his price beat his output. So really, was it that good? I guess it wasn't a dead score. So it wasn't like you lost to those other differentials by like 40 or 50 points. But I mean, you still gave up 10, 15, 20 points. Rowell, 89. Again, just not providing a top midfielder output. Swallow, 84. Miller put on a tag and was restricted to 79. So again, Miller is just, he's going to be so underpriced next year, Miller. If we look at it here, 11 games, 93 or 94. That's already heading closer towards that 800k mark for next year for Miller. For a guy that averaged, 115 or something like that 2 years ago. I think he could easily, with a injury-free season, be one of the best pickups. Casbolt, Lukosius, Ainsworth, McPherson, Roses, Atkins, 65. Just didn't provide anything, really. Humphrey, 50, just struggled to get involved in the game. And didn't really notice him, to be honest. Sardis, Lemons, McAndrew, actually, I thought had a really good intercepting game. Just doesn't show on the stat sheets, to be honest. Farah, Hollands, Ballard, Collins, and Day. No one else really did anything. And that pretty much is the video there. A little bit off track in parts of the video, but I guess got through it in the end, and really, I'm really hopeful for the Swans, if they can sneak into the finals, that they can win against like a Carlton or something like that, or a Geelong or a Western Bulldogs. We seem to have a good record against those guys. And then come up against I don't know, like a Collingwood or someone, or a Port or something like that, and be able to win against them. But I think they can go far and they can disrupt the finals series if they can get through. If they can beat Adelaide, they're pretty much in. They got to beat Adelaide, And I believe it's something like an 85% chance. And then they play the likes of Melbourne in the last round, and if they win both of their last 2 games, they are definitely in. But if they lose to Melbourne, they need some results to go their way. But anyway, that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.